The journey of the entrepreneur is a profound and wonderful journey.
I didn't want to work for anyone else. I wanted to work for myself.
Hi, I'm Mike Caslin, your host for Veterans Playbook. I'm hearing a lot of assets from your military experience.
I initially started Battlefish to help other veterans, to help other people.
It's battle fishing good.
This is a series about veteran entrepreneurs driven by their passion and purpose to create peace and prosperity for themselves and their community.
We just grew 20% in the last probably 3 months.
You've been heroes, national security heroes.
I've been mortared, I've been shot at.
Now it's time for you to become economic heroes. We're going to be using the Entrepreneur's Playbook, written by Professor Len Green, member of the Babson Business Hall of Fame, philanthropist, author, and serial entrepreneur.
Find a problem out there, solve it.
We want to ignite your passion and your social entrepreneur within.
Everywhere I went, you could never find this style of pizza anywhere.
Most people see an abandoned building as just waste. We see it as an opportunity.
Welcome to Veterans Playbook. We are going to have what I hope you'll consider a delicious show today. We're thrilled to be with Staff Sergeant Charlie Webb, now known as Jefe the Kitchen Magician, here at Hudson and Packard. And Charlie, great to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
And you weren't always, a world-class ranked pizza entrepreneur.
So I'm originally from Michigan. And that's kind of where the Detroit style pizza comes from.
Yeah.
As I was in the military, I joined in 2009, went off to basic training, Fort Jackson, eventually landed back in North Carolina at Fort Bragg, did a tour overseas, and then that took me into being an Army recruiter, and then that's kind of where I transitioned from wanting to be in the military for 20 years to wanting to get out and then open my own business, get into pizza, and then that kind of happened because everywhere I went, right, I was in South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, overseas, you could never find this style of pizza anywhere. But nobody had any respect or knowledge really of what Detroit style was, and even when I would tell people, oh, I'm specializing in Detroit style pizza, they would just look at you and go, what is that,
Right, yeah.
Wanted to go to culinary school because I had no culinary background. Worked at McDonald's, in 2007 when I was a senior in high school, and that was my cooking knowledge.
Yeah.
Looked up at the Culinary Institute, one of the,
Best in the world.
best in the world, one of the premier ones out of the United States. Loaded up the truck, moved from Syracuse to here, and the rest is kind of history. Went to the Culinary, graduated top of my class.
And you went through your military experience, you grew up the ranks, you became a non-commissioned officer, which is a great achievement.
From my experience as a non-commissioned officer and leading soldiers and kind of being on the front, that's what I wanted to do when I got out. And I knew that I didn't want to go, I didn't want to work with, I didn't want to work for anyone else. I wanted to work for myself. Incorporate any sort of military aspects that I loved and enjoyed into the cooking world.
Why'd you stay in Poughkeepsie? You could have theoretically gone anywhere and to any base.
I grew up living right outside of Detroit, and I could see the decay that was happening around my own city and my own hometown, and I kind of felt that vibe in Poughkeepsie in the sense that the city was on the come up. When we opened here, there was nothing on the street. The streetlights didn't work. So I stuck around here because it reminded me of home, but I also knew if I took Detroit style back home to Michigan, there's a million places you can go. It'd be like opening a New York style pizzeria here.
Right.
Fell in love with Poughkeepsie and the Hudson Valley, and I saw a great opportunity to kind of just open them all up and down the Hudson River line and expand into Connecticut.
You didn't just say, hey, pizza's me, I'm just going to have a pizza place. Like, you set the stage during your transition.
I know that I want to make this transition, but I also know I have zero experience in this world that I want to take ownership in and be a leader in. So I reached out to a couple of pizzerias in the area. Reached out to one, I got some feedback, and they hired me as a dishwasher, and I put in the hard work and started at the bottom and grew, and by the time I left, I was kitchen manager Again, I wasn't starting with a lot of capital, so I was looking for places in the area that had an open kitchen. And I also, you're coming into shark-infested waters when you're in New York, so I wanted to make sure that this was the market for it. A friend of mine took me to the Poughkeepsie Underwear Factory, and that's right up the street. I became a member there. They have this open kitchen with the idea of taking on small businesses and micro businesses like food trucks and people who are just doing catering that can rent a fridge or a couple of shelves. And so I bought all the equipment that I would need to make my style of pizza. They had the oven that we could use, and it wasn't perfect, but we made ourselves fit into that space to start the pop-up. We called it Motown Mondays because we're doing Detroit-style pizza, and it just clicked.
And you're growing through self-financing.
Because I needed the money to buy some stuff for the restaurant or the pop-up, and then COVID hits, and
Damn.
The world shuts down. They aren't letting anybody in the underwear factory to make food anymore because we don't know what's going on or what COVID is. And but I reached out to the underwear factory. I saw that other restaurants were just cooking for first responders and taking food to the hospitals because nurses and doctors were super overworked during that time. So I approached it as, can we get in there and do what we love to do and keep our name in people's mouths by making food for nurses in the hospitals.
I got Hudson and Packard pizza for the PCU at Vassar.
Thank you. Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your delivery.
And we would bring them 20 or 30 pizzas all on the house. Be able to do something to put a smile on somebody's face was super helpful to keep us going.
When you competed, you got recognition. So you almost doubled the number of pizzas year to year after your competition.
Well, to be fair, I didn't want to compete, but my girlfriend Jasmine, who runs the front of the house, and Brandon, my second back here, they were like, we're not going unless you compete. But we went. I put my best foot forward. We placed second in our division, and the business that we got from that it blew everybody's mind. A little pizzeria in Poughkeepsie placing second in the world, and when people hear that, they want to go and they want to try it, they want to see it. So there was just this huge rush. We'll have a night, where we'll sell 150 pizzas, and 2 years ago, that would have killed us. We would have been like, man, that's the busiest night we've ever had. Now 150 pizzas a night, we're just like, nah, it's like,
right.
that's like, what else can we do?
Active duty military, are you locked and loaded on your civilian life career plans? Military spouses, have you found a career that travels with you? Veterans, are you on a path of passion and purpose? The secret to your career success and happiness is all about fit. Learn how to customize your career to your powerfully unique talent, passion, purpose, and values. Control your own destiny by launching your own business. Order these books now on Amazon or visit veteransplaybook.com. Many entrepreneurs learn things the hard way. Increase your chances for business success. Len Green has over 40 years of experience advising thousands of winning entrepreneurs. He shares their inside secrets and proven strategies so you can learn it all before you launch your business. Based on his popular course at Babson College, the book reveals 18 down-to-earth principles and proven business tactics. Read the book and get online feedback from Len. Order today on Amazon or visit veteransplaybook.com.
Opening a restaurant, I wanted to put out the highest quality Detroit-style pizza you possibly could. There's been this trend where people are more conscious of where their food is coming from, and I wanted to open Hudson and Packard with the idea of having transparency for the guests, and that's why we came into a space with a big open kitchen where people can sit at the countertop and see how clean or dirty our kitchen is and see their food being made. So we were coming into this trying to find people who were, what you call foodies, people who cared about where their food was from and people who didn't mind paying extra for a higher quality product.
And Charlie, again, we talked about, the safety in numbers, that the strength of the Mustang is in the herd. Again, what we're finding with veterans we work with is sometimes if they don't have the passion and purpose, they're not on path, and without their new structure and then their new tribe, they're kind of by themselves.
As a business owner, you want to please everybody, and you want everyone to come and everyone to spend money in your restaurant. And that's when people would be like, well, you know, put a chicken sandwich on the menu, or put a burger on the menu, or do this or do that. And you know, it's, you walk in the door, on the sign it says Detroit Pizza, because that's what we specialize in. I knew making everything by hand, you can't do as much as maybe another place can do. You know, if you walk in any direction in New York State, you're gonna hit a pizzeria that's gonna have all the things that you want. Finding our tribe for us was just finding people that, like, you want pizza, you're gonna come to us.
And by accepting that limit, you're able to build more of an affinity or identity or loyalty. And then, you know, we talk about sustainable ventures for sustainable communities, you know, through 4P impact, people, profit, planet, place.
All part of finding your tribe. It's not just the customers that come through the door, it's the people you work with every day. Table 2. I spend more time with the people who work here than I do with my, you know, my friends and my family. But one of the things that I do miss the most from the military and being in the Army is just that camaraderie and that bonding and that sense of closeness that you have with a bunch of people that come from all over the world and all over the United States. And that's why here, you know, if I have 2 people that are equal on an application, I don't know what either of them look like or what their name is, but one of the applications says veteran and the other one doesn't, you know, I'm looking at that veteran one a little harder, a little closer, and because I want to prioritize bringing people in that have, you know, those core values and that structure that I know is gonna be someone that I won't have to look over their shoulder for very long.
The idea of helping others, to me, boils down to just having a purpose. So often you feel that those that are struggling with mental health issues, particularly the veteran population, they come from a line of service and they have a purpose and a mission every day.
1, 2, 3.
So what you see is a lot of veterans find healing in helping others because that's a new purpose for them. They're helping their brothers and sisters.
Located just north of New York City, Duchess County is a gem along the majestic Hudson River. We are grateful to the more than 13,000 veterans who call Duchess County home. Veteran entrepreneurs and volunteers make Duchess County a special place, and they enhance our quality of life. We are honored to serve our veterans and their families at the innovative Veterans One Stop, where services, support, and camaraderie come together to make veterans' lives better.
Hi, we're here at the world premiere Culinary Institute of America with the one and only Chef John Riley. Very early on in the program, one of my first chef instructors was Chef Riley. He was one of the first chef instructors that really held us to a very strict standard, did not deviate from that standard, and it was something that I appreciated very early on. We have him here. What I'd like to hear a little bit about Chef is a little bit of your story. I know that you weren't in the military, but you grew up in a military household.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because, you know, my father and all of his brothers, all the men, served in World War II. You know, when I grew up with my father, it was a loving family. It was, you know, work hard, play hard. You know, love your family, love your community, do right, don't be an extremist, and that's really how he kind of reared me.
So one of the biggest influences that led me to come to the Culinary Institute of America was just the history that they have with veterans and helping veterans coming out of war or service to teach them an applicable skill.
I think it's really part of our DNA because it really is the genesis of where the school started. So it's been with us for time and decade after decade. I think you'll find that most faculty actually kind of gravitate towards those who were in the service.
And one of the things that a student said that stuck with me as I was taking your class was know how to do your task, buy the book, follow that, and you were one of those first, chef instructors that didn't matter what the standard was, everyone was held to the same standard.
Well, having standards is a good thing. Did I really yell?
No.
Did I raise my voice and scream? Did I?
No.
No, but I was firm. Hey, you got to do it this way. Hey, where's your critical thinking? You know, having a book, having a recipe is great, but you know, a recipe is only a guideline. You know, this kid comes up or student comes up and says, well, I followed the recipe. Yeah, but did you impart any critical thinking? Because this isn't a sauce, this is a puree. Where are you applying your knowledge, what you think is right?
You would go through cuisines of Americas, cuisines of Asia, and you would just learn different cultures through food. And I think that definitely plays a huge part in what we do at Hudson and Packard, just by being able to take the canvas that is pizza dough, and in our style, Detroit style, and just influence and bring on other cultures, whether that's a Latin influence or an Asian influence.
You're looking at your pizza and the innovation and the creation that goes behind that, and the base of that is what you've learned. If you have one book and one chef, you know one way of cooking. Many chefs, many books, many different opinions. It gives the student, you, a deeper perspective and understanding about the food and the world that they live in. And that's hopefully where that level, that higher level of thought, of creativity and innovation, right, that comes through. Now, about that ambassador pizza, I gotta tell you, I search for perfection, you know, and I know every pie that you put out is absolutely perfect, and I enjoy it, but there's something to me about the ambassador that brings me back home, and it brings me back home every time I have it. Yeah. So, and that to me is sort of my link, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, because again, it's always perfect.
Everything my grandma's ever cooked is one of those things, you know, when we do those things, it's such an accomplishment and a warm feeling. So when you say that it reminds you of your childhood, that's a very big compliment. I ended up in Poughkeepsie because it reminded me of home, but the Hudson Valley as a whole is super beautiful. The campus that we're on now at the Culinary Institute of America is also very beautiful.
Well, we transported ourselves over here around 1972 from the campus of Yale. And we got the main building up there. That was the only building. We housed our students and cooked down below, and ever since there we've been building and moving, and you know, you just walk around. It's very easy to be inspired any season that you're here.
Chef Riley, I really want to thank you for your time, not just today, but you know, every time you come in and visit, it's you know, puts a smile on everyone's face. Everyone's like, you know, the real Hefe's coming, the Don, we write on the box sometimes because it's the ambassador.
I feel the same way. I'm almost at a loss for words. I'm kind of choked up about it, and it's a pleasure to see someone that I've actually taught sort of move into it and grow and inspire and develop, and it fills me to my core. And thank you for everything you've done for me.
Welcome to Heroes Cafe, where our national security heroes are quickly becoming our economic security heroes, helping to achieve more peace and prosperity across America. I'm pleased to introduce to you our panel in Heroes Cafe, Professor Tony DeMarco, executive producer of Veterans Playbook, Corey Mays, co-owner of Plum Porch.
Hello.
And Charlie Webb, owner of Hudson Packard. Charlie, welcome back. We look forward to having a good conversation about things you're thinking about now as it relates to growing your company, maybe an operational challenge and even a vision challenge that you may have.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, super glad to be back and having this conversation, and appreciate you guys having me on. Right now, you know, there's only so much you can charge for pizza and wings and salads, and we're just, you know, seeing continuous rise in food costs. Labor has been super hard, especially since COVID, and we're still dealing with that. But right now we're just trying to, you know, hold on and hire when we can and find the right people.
I was wondering if you had a goal or two that now informs your future goals.
Yeah, I mean, people ask us all the time, is this the only location we have, or is this a franchise? With growth, for sure. I would love to kind of be that household name for Detroit style pizza in the Hudson Valley and on the East Coast.
What about a food truck? Have you ever considered doing a food truck? Because I was also going to mention maybe something about catering.
I've already looked into like pricing out a food truck and having it built, and we've reached that like maximum capacity within the space that we have, and we just definitely are in the search for a bigger space so we can have a bigger kitchen and we can capitalize on some of those things.
Have you ever thought about, when you do franchise, perhaps franchising to veterans?
I think the restaurant industry and the military have a lot of similarities, both in the structure and just kind of the camaraderie of everything. And we're always going to look at capitalizing on that market.
Charlie, we're now going to talk about the Entrepreneur's Playbook and some of the key principles that are found in it and how it's really practical for you. One of those principles, principle 13, is if it ain't broke, break it.
So we're always looking for ways to roll something out new for the customers, whether that's a menu item or a weekly special that we do. Every year for the last 2 years, I've taken myself and a team of us to Vegas, to the biggest pizza expo in at least the United States, to both look into innovation, what's going on in the industry.
Charlie, you've helped so many of us better understand the journey of an entrepreneur and a veteran. Anything that comes to mind that you need us to do to help you?
I wouldn't ask that we necessarily need any help, but I would just ask the viewers and everyone listening to look at their community and find local small businesses who just have a footprint within their home community. Go out and support those places, get out of your comfort zone and find something new. And, there's probably a restaurant or a business that is doing something that you didn't know existed, but definitely needs your help and your support.
Any final messages for our viewers tonight?
I guess my message would be to the veteran listeners or the active duty soldier who's watching this. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. And, there's a life outside of the military where you can be just as successful. And you have such a great network all around the country and the world.
Well, I want to thank our panel today, our Heroes Cafe panel. And I'd like to also thank Charlie for sharing his journey and tapping into his grit and dreams. I hope you are inspired by this amazing veteran venture story. Whether you're an active duty veteran or military family member, starting your own business is a great dream. We hope you're inspired to act now, pursue this passion and purpose, and by doing so, move our world to a better place. We are Veterans Playbook. Until next week, I'm Mike Caslin.
Yeah.